Hello and welcome to Full Sail University. Today we're going to be talking about rigging and special effects with Culley Bunker. How's it going? And Laurie Brugger. Culley here is a lead visual effects artist at Skulley FX and also the owner. All right, Laurie here, she is a senior rigger at Framestore. So what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to turn it over to them and we'll let them guide the audience. And they are going to be asking for participation, so please feel free to interact once they give you the hi sign or the go sign. Thanks.
Hello. Hello, Full Sail. How are you doing today? Whoa, it's like I'm in high school. Full Sail, how's it going? All right.
I don't think, oh, it does work. Sweet. Thanks for having us. This is fun.
Yeah.
I can't see any of you, but.
We don't have any formal presentation or anything. We like to come in and really just talk to you guys and you know, we can tell you about our experiences through your questions and stuff. I'm gonna show you my reel. This is a internal reel that I only show clients when I physically see them because I can't put this on the internet, and you'll see why. So that's kind of what I've been become known for, is doing cosmetic fixes on various stars in the music entertainment industry. We also do visual effects. I don't have a new reel for that, but this is what I worked on for you guys. I cut this a while ago because every time I come here, I show bits and pieces, but I needed to put a big one together. And I also did it for my clients as well. But and then Laurie, she just recreates the whole faces all together.
I didn't bring a reel, sorry. But I'm showing some stuff tomorrow, but now, yeah, I mean, the subject of my presentation tomorrow is gonna be like face modification in 3D. So it's like tracking rigs for facial replacement, facial tracking rigs, basically, so you can stick whatever you want on people's heads.
That's actually the next evolution. That's the next evolution of what I want to do. So I'm going to have to come and watch. Just instead of digitally fixing them, we'll just replace their whole head. So I guess we're going to open up for questions, unless you have more to say.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that with all of this like beautification stuff, it like really pisses me off. I was like, where's the men?
Yeah, there was one guy in there. We do a lot of men, but it's not as drastic of a change, so it's hard to show.
But also, like, I was telling a story earlier about, I was working on Gravity, which is the Alfonso Cuarón movie that's like now postponed until October, but Sandra Bullock has this like sequence where she's like swimming in this tank, and there's stuff like flying around, like everywhere. We were like, whoa, we were like going frame to frame, like, how is this even possible? And they like completely like lengthened all of her legs and like just whitewashed all of the detail like out of them. And it completely changed like her whole body proportion. I was like shocked.
Well, it's Hollywood. You never believe the picture, right? Everything's an effect now.
I don't
Invisible or invisible or visible. It's everything's altered just because they can. Directors, when they're given an open book, they like to write their own pages. So I can't see any of you because these lights are blinding. I feel like a deer. Don't hit me.
Can everybody hear me now? What we're going to do now is just ask them whatever questions you guys want. I've already talked to them, and they said if they're not allowed to answer it, of course, they'll just let you know. So we want to kind of make this where you guys can just ask questions about their job, or you can even ask how they got where they are today, how they got from students basically to where they are today as well. So if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. Sorry.
Well, I'm about to trip on this seat here. I'm sorry. My name is Jacob Moss. I'm in the game art degree program. I noticed you had worked in, was it Firestone or Framestore? I'm trying to get the name of the
Framestore.
Oh,
Framestore. Okay, sorry.
I'm like, he's not talking to me. He's talking to him.
Are we downtown Orlando? I didn't know you work at Firestone.
My bad. What I wanted to ask you about, because it said that you that it's a business over in Europe, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Could you actually talk more about what you work over there, what you do, and anything about Europe when it comes to the business in the game artist degree program and stuff like that, what we might expect?
Gaming, I don't know the industry that well. I know that there's, in the UK, there's some gaming companies. There's a couple in Scotland, I think in Glasgow, and a couple freckled around England. But I don't know that many game artists in the UK. I'm more in the visual effects industry, which in the UK is based in Soho, which is like a neighborhood in central London. And their Framestore, London is like their central office, but they also have offices in LA and New York, and they just opened a Montreal office. And the industry in London, there's a bunch of boutiques, and then there's a few like really major companies. Like there's the Moving Picture Company, there's Framestore, Cinesite, Double Negative, and we're all like within 3 blocks of each other. So, and people freelance and they move around. There's a lot of like staff artists, but they're quite large companies. They're pretty big. And obviously there's boutique-y places and more animation-centric places, but it's kind of like a little hub for Europe because of the tax breaks. So there's like Warner Brothers and Universal and stuff will bring projects over to get the tax cuts. So that's why we have an industry there.
And in Canada.
Yeah, and in Canada, but everywhere else.
I have a question to expand on his. Since you're an American moving overseas to another country, how did the visa process work, or how did you even come about the job overseas?
Well, I was living in LA, and I was working on pre-production for a feature animation called Valiant, which is about homing pigeons during World War II. And I was doing their pre-production, character modeling, and rigging, and then they asked me if they wanted the tax cut, so they were moving production to London, and they asked me if I wanted to go for 6 months. And I was like, yeah, I want to go for 6 months. And I've been there 9 years now.
Longest 6 months I've ever heard of.
Yeah, let's just say I prefer London to LA. But yeah, so the visa process, like, has changed a lot in the last few years. They've like overhauled it, and it's a lot more difficult. Like for students, I did a little bit of research before I came, so I could answer questions like this, whereas I wouldn't have been able to before. But you, as a student, you can't get a visa for the UK, so not easily anyway. You have to basically have a job and get sponsored from a company to go and work there now. Whereas before, it was like more of a well, it was different. So you could do it if you had like, a degree in this and blah, blah, blah. But it's quite difficult for students now. But there's like work permit systems. And if you do find a company that wants to hire you, I mean, there's a way, like it's a skilled job. It's like a specialist industry that the government wants to promote. So, there's a way in.
All right. Yes.
How you doing? I'm Pietro's Timo, CA. I just want to know, like, what made you guys want to get into the industry? Like, what made you want to do what you do today?
I had a weird road. I actually came for audio engineering. I love to hook things up, and I worked for a regional sound company in Michigan and hooked up their big systems and went, this is amazing. I got 1,000 watt system here that I get to play with. So I wanted to run front of house, so I've looked for a place to go to school to try to jumpstart that instead of doing bar bands and working for this company in the summers as basically a PA. So I found Full Sail, and I actually came down here without even seeing the school. I got an apartment, everything through the phone. We didn't really have internet then. Wow, sounds old. We didn't have internet in my day. We had a phone book and we liked it. So I came down here sight unseen, and then came to Full Sail and was in the audio program and just wasn't feeling it. And they had the digital program that had started a little earlier, and I said, computers, looks like it's for me. So I switched to computer graphics and just went from there, and just I loved the idea of visual effects and compositing after I switched over, and just explored that. And just through a lot of hard work, perseverance, and luck, got where I am today. There's a lot in between. If you want me to go into more, I could, but I'm going to let Laurie talk for or experience?
I'm from Orlando, so I knew Full Sail, and I wanted to go to school here. And I got into computer graphics like kind of accidentally. Like I was more of a I was kind of more focusing on fine art when I was growing up, and then I always used to watch cartoons on mute to get ideas for paintings and stuff like that. And so I always like cartoons as well, and I love movies. So I don't know, I kind of like was looking for something to do. I started Full Sail when I was 17, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I like kind of was like, well, this is like, CGI, like Toy Story is awesome, and I could totally do that, and I think would be good at it. I don't know anything about computers at all, except for how to turn it on.
It's so funny. You went from the art side, and I came in from the technical side. I loved computers. After I got one, I didn't get one until I came here. A month after I got a computer, everybody was bringing me "There's a fix." So it was like fish to water.
Yeah, it wasn't like that at all. I still don't know how to use computers.
No, there's the two sides of the industry. I'm more of a technist, and she's an artiste.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, it's working. My name is Roberto Saavedra from Computer Animation. Obviously, you two guys are very experienced and trained in the industry, and you do this like every day, like we do, I don't know, homework. But what I wanted to do is ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have to cope with on maybe on a weekly basis or on a daily basis in a studio environment? That kind of thing that you never really can nail, or something you have to work on it repeatedly, and something that you never really end improving. What is it that you guys say that, okay, this thing, again, it's in front of me, I need to deal with this, oh my God. What do you guys do with this?
First.
Pipeline. It's always ongoing. It's always changing. It's always improving. But it's when there's new stuff, old things break. So, and when you're an artist and you're trying to like do aesthetic things and push things forward, changing like pipeline technologies, and basically pipeline is the way that your work gets out and other people's work gets to you. So, and it's the core of like the whole, it's the infrastructure. So I think that's the thing in our office that causes quite a lot of headaches. But from the rigging perspective, there's a gazillion things. From the rigging perspective, it's like I change everything all the time, and it's the same. It's like whenever you change something, it breaks other things. So, but you have to, because you always have new ideas and stuff.
That's what our job is. It's problem solving. Everything always breaks. You just need to be a good problem solver to figure out a solution, not always the solution. For me, it's a two-pronged thing. Clients are always the unknown in the mix. You never know what they're going to want or when they're going to go off the rails. But I got lost in the question. What was the question again? The challenges. Like I said, the clients, and then the ever-changing software. I use probably every piece of compositing software there is, and it's hard to keep learning them over and over again. You guys probably have more knowledge on Nuke than I do, or the newest compositing software. I use some old piece of software that's retired, basically, just because I'm good and fast at it. And it's a problem for me because I'm falling behind. And luckily I'm a business owner and I can hire you guys to do it. Make you guys keep up on it. But that's one of the challenges for me. There's the ever-changing software and the more buttons and the cooler things and the freaking expressions, and it's overwhelming. Like when I'm doing a lot of work and I'm like, oh, there's something I could learn here, but I got to get the work done. So I either get the work done or I have to learn something new. So I get the work done with the software I know and get the work done. That's 3 times in a row, get the work done. So yeah, I'd have to say that's the biggest challenge, is ever-changing software and trying to keep current, and clients and trying to keep them happy.
Okay. So in your industry, what are some good skills to have to do what you do?
Like starting out, basic fundamentals for compositing would be paint, roto, and tracking. Those are the three fundamentals of compositing. So get good at those and get your foot in the door using paint, roto, and tracking.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, I was talking to like one of the recruiters at Framestore, and I was like, well, what like jobs do you hire juniors for? Because they said that they're always moving people from different departments to fill mid and senior level positions and hiring freelancers for that. And I was like, well, what do you have that's like a junior position? And they said basically the only jobs we ever hire out for junior positions is paint and roto and tracking.
Yeah, seems the industry standard.
So yeah.
Even in 3D, to get into a place that does 3D, start there, and then hey, I do 3D.
I started, my first job was tracking.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do it. But I figured it out.
Yeah, that's a tricky part. You got to know. It's a small world in this industry. So on that note, you got to know when to jump in overhead and when not to. And it's tricky to know, because if you jump in over your head and you can't do the job, they're probably not going to call you back, and they might tell your friends. But if you don't jump in over your head, you'll never advance. So that's a slippery slope.
For you guys, make sure you hold your mic a little bit closer. Some people are coming from here. If anybody has any
It's
other questions,
really
make sure you're
hot.
raising your hand so we can see it. There's runners all over the room. About 5. Here we go.
Am I on yet? Here we go. Hi, I'm Justin Francis. I'm from the computer animation program. I was wondering if you had a shot throughout the entire production that you wanted to work on. Like for animators, they may prefer a lip sync over an action shot. Do you guys have a favorite shot that you guys like to work on?
I don't think is my mic working? Can you hear? Okay. I don't work in shots. I work in asset builds. So I'm gonna build a character and other people are gonna pick it up and put it in a shot. But I do some compositing work for fun sometimes. It's been quite a few years, and last time I did it was in Shake, and I'm learning at the moment. And at that stage, I guess, I don't know, I mean, different shots, I don't think I think it's just if it's I guess still shots that like hold and not like super quick, like the C
Motion
shots.
blur?
Like shots for people who aren't really good at compositing. My favorite shots are the ones that are for people who are good at compositing, so that I feel like I'm doing it right.
For me, when a job comes in and I'm watching it, there's a lot of time I'm like, ooh, I want to work at that shot. And, well, I work on that shot. I don't know how to explain it anymore. I own the company, so but what happens a lot of the time is I'll get busy actually running the company and doing the job organization and quality control, and I won't get to do the shot. It's kind of depressing sometimes, but somebody will get to do it and have fun. Because the hard shots are the fun ones. The easy shots are boring.
Go ahead with the next question.
Come on, Full Sail, get the mics working.
Hello.
I think it's on.
Hello? Oh, okay. Hello. I was wondering, while in your business, how many people do you work with on a daily basis, like interact with? Or are you more on your own?
Me personally, I have a small company. We have 3 on staff, and I hire up to 6 people during the day on a day shift freelance, because we don't have a lot. Obviously, in this industry, it's a piecemeal. It ebbs and flows with what jobs you have. So we hire freelancers for the amount of time of the job. I kind of have some permalancers that come in almost on every job. Sometimes we even run a night shift, or we'll hire another company sometimes. And I've started doing a little bit of cloud stuff with some friends I know. we'll work. I have a shot tracker, and I'll put shots on the FTP for them, and I'll do stuff back and forth. But I've just started doing that, and only with people that I trust, because it's hard to work remotely when there's problems, and getting stuff back and forth with the internet speeds today is a little slow. So, I mean, I work with about 3 to 8 people a day, not including people on the phone or email, or, you know, it could go up a lot further after that.
It depends on the project and what the role is that I'm doing. So it depends on if I'm like in a lead position, then I'll have like 1 or 2 riggers that I'm dealing with every day. But like, for example, the project I'm working on now, I work with my modeler every day. I work with my producer every day. My riggers on either side of me, I'm always working with them because I talk a lot. And then my animator on the show. And that's who I deal with every single day, those people on this small show. In a bigger show, I might be working with the tracker, might be working with a few different production coordinators between the different departments. Just, it depends really on the project.
Hi, my name is Ivan Elizalde, and I'm from the CA program. I was wondering, how was the transition from a graduate to owning your own company? I'm really interested in that.
That's not a short transition. That's like 10 years or 8 years of time. Actually, I started my own business by accident as a freelancer. Doing an S-Corp is in your best interest because the industry's weird when it comes to hiring versus employee versus 1099. There's a lot of legality and stuff. And when I started, nobody really cared, so they just gave you they didn't take taxes out. It's not, I don't think it's legal nowadays, and they're enforcing it now. But I formed my own S-Corp so they could pay my S-Corp as a 1099, because I like doing my own taxes. I don't like them taking it out. It's in my best interest to deal with that myself, because it's a tax advantage most of the time. In my view, I would pay less taxes if I didn't have them take taxes out, because I can do more deductions. If I'm a personal business, I can deduct my internet, my cable TV, anything that's all research and development, movies I go see. If I take a friend out and we talk about business, boom, we deduct it. So forming an S-Corp is just, even as an individual, you don't have a company, but per se, but you as an individual is a business and a company. So I decided to incorporate that way. And then the company I was currently working for sold, and most of the clients at the time were kind of my clients. So I just started in a small room renting a computer, and started funneling my clients there, and quit. And then that guy went out of business, and I bought all his equipment, and kind of fell into starting my own business. It wasn't on purpose. I just didn't think that the guy was I felt like he was buying an easy bake post house. He's just going to buy a post house, and the clients and I come with it, and I'm just going to do the same thing that I did for the guy that brought me up. I was like, no, I'm going to take my clients and go somewhere else, and you can get your own.
You're saying that you started your own company because of tax evasion?
No, not at all. It's not tax evasion when it's legal.
Lots of people do that. Lots of people do that.
Take advantage of every tax loophole you can. They put it there. Liberal or not.
Hi, my name is Natalie. What were some of your favorite projects you guys worked on, and why?
Oh, there you are. Like the lights.
I guess like my favorite movie that I like doing things that are like short, like
Change it up.
yeah, because I work on projects for like years. So, and they're like, everything you do has these like long consequences. You know what I mean? So the projects I like the most are like really short, where I'm just like coming in and like saving the day.
Oh, those are fun.
I like that. You just like pop in and you're like, whoosh, whoosh, and they're like,
Happens a lot.
wow, and then you leave. So like,
Those are the fun ones.
yeah, Where the Wild Things Are, I did that. And that was really fun. I loved that. And then, yeah, any like little test things that we're doing that's just like a little short, you know? And you work with like 3 people and you just do what you want. That's really fun. But those don't get released.
For me, specific projects, Lady Gaga's Bad Romance is one of my favorites. The Frozen Diamonds were actually supposed to be raining, and the director didn't like the way it looked, and we didn't want to not give him something there, so we took it upon ourselves to do something with the shot, and we froze him and showed it, and he loved it and put it in there, so we had a little creative input in that. There's so many to list. I don't know what my favorite ones are anymore. There's just, it's a job. I love my job, but a shot becomes a shot after a while. But I do like doing that. What she does sometimes is they're just we have to come in and be Captain Save a video half the time. We're like, oh my God, it's dying, and they took it from another place or something, and just like, oh, here you go, there it's done. They're like, what? Whoa. That's always nice. It's a very underappreciated job because we're so behind the scenes. So when you get recognition, it's like, it's kind of like a drug. That's why we kind of like coming here, you know. It's
We like getting all hopped up.
Yeah. The attention drug.
Just kidding.
We're from Hollywood. We don't, you know, we see all the actors and stuff and see how they get all the attention, but sometimes
I'm not from
I don't usually like it. Well, you know what I mean. Hollywood industry. Sorry.
And then we have a question, back row, your left.
Jake again. Gonna ask another one just because I love you, okay? Last two events I decided to join in to all talked about branding, and I want to basically ask you the questions that they were talking about. What did you guys do that set you apart from everyone else in the industry due to the fact that it is actually pretty competitive?
Wow, he talks fast. Let me tell you how I do this. I don't know about you, but when I got in it, it wasn't as competitive at all. It was still competitive, don't get me wrong, but I found something called Flame. It cost like $500,000 when I got out of school. I found one in Miami, and I basically moved there and slept with it for almost a year. I worked for this company for free, doing demos and setting up the computer and doing this or that, and because I heard they made $100 an hour, and that sounded good to me. So I interned at this place for almost a year, working for free, so I could be next to this thing, and I got experienced at it, and eventually went to California, and with Flame experience, we didn't have the internet like you do now, so I made a bunch of VHS tapes, if you know what those are, and I literally printed out all the post houses I could find and went door to door and just said, hey, somebody to talk to, and I got a job painting out dust and dirt on old J.J. Kneller TV shows.
I don't know what that is.
J.J. Kneller? Wow. Like, what was it, Knight Rider or? Oh. He was a huge 80s writer and TV producer. And they were re-releasing some stuff in Europe and retransferring it. So I don't know if you know what dust busting is from the film days, which is like yesterday. Just yesterday we used film, and now today it's all digital. Dust and dirt would get in the film, and we'd clone it out, frame by frame. We'd have QC reports where somebody would literally watch it with bleeding eyes and find all the dust, and then they would break it down, and we would take those out and erase it. And that was my first job. And from there, I just met a lot of people and network. They drive that in your head here, do they not? It's really true. I don't know how many times I've gotten friends jobs or just staying in close touch. I just, at the party last night, I haven't seen a friend of mine that I graduated with 10 years, and I invited him over. And he came, and I'm hoping it'll jumpstart him because he's gone in and out of doing digital stuff. He loves to cook, which is good, so he works at restaurants, but I'm hoping that last night was a good networking experience. He might be able to get back in.
I don't know if anything set me apart when I first graduated. I just happened to have a friend.
Networking.
So, but I think now, I'll get new jobs because riggers have very technical skill set, and they also need an artistic skill set. And I think a lot of riggers that I know are the scales tip towards technical, and I'm the opposite.
I wish I had more traditional art background. It really helps. It does. But then again, I can build a machine room. So being an owner of a company, it helps because I built my place from the ground up with eBay, popsicle sticks, and a rubber band here and there.
Okay, we got another question right here.
My name is Charles Moore in computer animation. I have kind of an interactive question. Do you guys look at the demo reels for people that you're going to hire, or like when you are looking for new blood into the company? Do you guys get a chance to look at the demo reels? I know you probably have the final say or so, but when you look at the demo reels, and when you look at them, what do you look for specifically? Like,
that's really hard. I do, when people send me websites to look at with demo reels on them, that's so 20th century or 21st century or something. I look at the reels. I can't really tell you if it grabs me or not. I mean, just a good looking shot with some kind of before and after or how it was built is good. Starting out, if you do a roto and show me the black and white or show me the lines over it, I mean, I've seen a few of the students here do that. There's some rotos that are pretty intense. Like, I was like, I'm pretty amazed at what they had done. A good before and after, just something that catches your eye. If possible, stuff that's a little more than the lessons that you can get. Shoot yourself or something, but really kind of fine tune it to look a little professional. Because I see some that are just like, ugh, this is bad green screen, this is bad comping. It just doesn't look professional, even though I can see the skills there. And then it's just a matter of timing for me. If you email me at the right time, I know it sucks to say, you can have all the skill in the world, but if you have bad timing, it's just a thing.
I don't have the final say all the time. Like, I've hired a couple people, but I look at reels when we have new people coming in, and I ask people, I ask the head of modeling, I ask the head of rigging, like, what do you look for? And they usually, from a rigging perspective, I always tell people that everybody can do an IK-FK switch. So don't put that first. Put something first that's special and that's different and looks really nice. And like, it's gotta be like kind of entertaining. And like, we like to see things that are different because it's like shows that you'll bring something that we didn't think of. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and we're typically looking for like something specific because the Framestore is really big. So we are typically looking for particular skill sets. And yeah, so we like to see things that make you stand out, even though I just said like 2 seconds ago that when I graduate, I didn't stand out at all. But,
the entertaining part's great. Like, if I click on it and I see it's entertaining in the first couple seconds or something, then I'm gonna watch further.
You have Sometimes to like,
I don't
watch it.
Yeah, you wanna watch it.
So it's like ugly and it's like 70s colors.
Or a bad opening card with somebody's name in a horrible font or something, or a bad animated font, that just totally turned it off. I've had a couple like that. I'm like, oh, let's take a look at this. Oh, George Smith, your name looks horrible.
Also, I know this is really like bad, but I'm sorry, it's true. Like with reels, you don't usually like fill out your whole skill set yourself. You know what I mean? You might need help from a friend to like do some animation or some shading or some lighting or whatever. And just make sure you get a good one. Get a good friend to do that.
And if you're not like a motion graphics guy, just put your name in the front and that's it. Don't try to go crazy with it unless you're good, because it turns me off right away. I don't know. Yeah.
Question over here in the front.
Hi guys, my name is Alex. I'm in the digital art and design program. Small company, big company. What's the value of a jack of all trades in each of your situations?
In my company, jack of all trades is exactly what I need. Small companies, obviously, small companies are always going to be looking, especially in compositing, for generalists, people who can paint roto and comp, light, track, even do some light 3D if it's or heavy 3D. everything, it would be great. Big companies, obviously hers, are looking for very specific things because they have a bunch of people doing a pipeline. Like, almost like an assembly line in a certain way sometimes, right? No? No? Did I just, I heard her feelings. I heard her feelings.
No, well, having said that though, in film, the projects are a lot of money involved and a lot of time, hopefully. But the commercial side of things, they need generalists because you have tight schedules. You don't have time to like wait for the guy next to you to like solve the problem he's working on before he can deal with this one. You have to be able to do it yourself. And also, having a good broad knowledge is important regardless of how pigeonholed you get. Because if you're a modeler, you need to know about texturing, you need to know about rigging, you need to know about like art, you need to know about sculpture, you need to know, you have to have a broad skill set even when you're specialized. So, because it makes you better. It makes you more aware of what you're doing. And it also allows you to help other people in your team, which is really important too.
Yeah. As a generalist, I would say yes, try to be as general as possible, but maybe pick something that you become special at. That way, when you're at the company, you can do a little bit of everything, but you're the guy to go to for that.
Thank you very much. Right over here. Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm in computer animation. I just wanted to know, you guys work in kind of different fields. Like Laurie, I know you worked on Harry Potter, and I know Culley, you work on a lot of music videos. Can you share some of your experiences from working on these projects that you do?
Experiences.
Ooh, I have a good one. Okay, so I was going on set, right? So Harry Potter was shooting in a studio outside of London. And I happened to be there for a different project. I was there for Gravity for some facial motion capture, but all the Harry Potter film sets were up, and I was like wandering around in there, and there was like all these crazy, like, it was like, there was this huge room, warehouse full of props from Harry Potter, and I went to the cafeteria, and we were sitting there, it was just like 6 of us or whatever. And then like all of a sudden, I guess they like took a break from the filming and all of the people came in, and it was like all the goblins in full prosthetic makeup sitting around a table eating spaghetti. I was just like, wow, where am I?
I don't know, they all mesh together when you've done it for so long. I don't know what you're looking for, like if I go on set, if I see a star or something, are they cool? I don't know. Just when you're doing it, you just don't really, you try not to be a fan. Because then if you are, you kind of like look like I don't know. But I've met quite a few, and most of them are really cool. Like J-Lo likes to hang out on set and not go to her trailer, like hold up in there. There's a lot of them that will come late, stay in their trailer too long, and don't realize they're actually paying everybody for what they're doing. When they find out, they're like, oh, maybe I should be on time. Because in music videos, they actually pay for their music videos out of their record sales. And a lot of artists don't realize that. And when they finally get told, they shape up a little bit. If you want to be more specific, I might be able to help, but like, there's so many experiences that the only ones I remember lately are just my kids, you know? My son's starting to talk, and it's like baby talk versus almost getting him right, and it's so cute. So that's what I remember in my head.
Hi again. I wanted to ask you over here for some piece of advice for somebody who would like to be a producer or own a company or even do, send the jobs and the projects overseas to maybe a cheaper studio that can do it and then bring it back to the States and, do business like that. What would you do in like this year, for example, or next year, coming out of Full Sail? What's the best thing you could advise for us if we want to be like more on the business side, even though we know all the technical and art from our trade?
I don't know.
You want to be more on the business side of it, like EP, or executive producer or producer in visual effects?
Anything in the industry, basically. I mean,
Well, it's a big industry when you go that way. You know, there's so many positions in business part of it.
let's say
You want to be an accountant?
no. Let's say for example a VFX studio, right?
Okay.
To the simulations, animations, all kinds of things. What's the best advice that you can give us if we really want to become that kind of person? Really fast. Really professional.
I'm still not. You want to be a simulator?
No.
I'm
What I'm
still-
saying
I'm
is,
still-
if I
a
wanted to
producer.
build a studio that does all kinds of
just
animations,
really learn how to organize people.
Organize people?
And work with people and make sure you're detail oriented. Producer's job, is to make sure everybody is working efficiently and congruently with the job. So it's just a matter of, you have to balance so many things. Being a producer is definitely a skill set that I don't want. It's really, really detailed. You just have to manage I'm going in circles, aren't I? To get into that part of the business, I would say get in as a PA, starting out, just office assistant of some kind, and try to work into it. Watch what they do. In most places I've always been, they're always looking for coordinators or producers, good ones, to come up. You just got to start and watch what they do and learn from them how you manage a project.
There's a significant difference between a really good production coordinator and a not so good production coordinator. It's clear. And I would think that the main difference is that a really good production coordinator cares about what is going on, and they're trying to figure it out. And if you need help organizing something, they're on it, they're organized, they don't forget, they don't miss your email, they're paying attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And also trying to learn what is going on, because it's really abstract, super technical field or even artistic, someone with a production skill set doesn't necessarily understand what's going on. They didn't learn that necessarily. So I think it's important to the people you're working with. If you're a production coordinator, someone asks you for something, at least try to learn what it is.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah, it's the simple things, making sure you return emails on time, because if that email doesn't go out, somebody's going to be doing something they shouldn't be doing. Interacting with the clients, making sure they know what's going on, if things are going to fall behind or if they're ahead of schedule. Actually, don't tell them that. If they're going to fall behind, they need to know so they can adjust their schedules. Making sure doing Excel, a lot of Excel worksheets. You need to know actuals. You keep track of artist hours and how much they make per hour versus, and how much it's costing the company per day, what you thought it would cost, and then you come up with what the number you thought was, and then the actuals, and then you see if you're making money or losing money, and then you're gonna know if the company's gonna run or not. Those are all things that a producer does. They manage the job and make sure it's staying profitable. And if it's not, hopefully they figure out why and are able to fix it.
I got one question for Laurie, just to kind of get it back to the nerdy standpoint here. Someone asked me earlier, how many blend shapes do you think you do? And do you do them, or does it a modeler, or do you just hook them up?
I've done both, and I would recommend you do your own. But you don't always have time. So, and you have to be able to delegate and split work. You have to be able to do that. So, but ideally, if you're working on a character for the face, if you're working on a character's face, typically, hopefully you had something to do with the design and modeling process, the topology, obviously. I do that myself, at least lay it out, or I make drawings for the modeler, what I want. And then, so hopefully you've been involved, up to that point. So basically you've designed it for blend shapes, and you're the one that knows the most about that by that point. So it's really efficient for you to do your own, I find. And in terms of how many, for a full set, I would think not left-right split. It's not, you'd be surprised, it's not that many. If it's just central and, before you're splitting them, I would think maybe like 40 base on the base level, and then like an infinite amount of corrective shapes. So however many you need, and the list gets very long, very, very long.
Hello again. I know our schedules here at Full Sail can be kind of crazy with the amount of hours that we do.
It's nothing.
I was asking more along the lines of what you guys do during your downtime, or do you guys even have any free time? Do you spend time with your family? Do they enjoy what you guys do?
It's a little different because she's more in a bigger company and me owning the company. My wife is a single parent. I see my kids on Skype. And when we don't work, we're freaking out that we don't have work. So we're trying to get more work. There's only certain times that things actually happen on a schedule where you go on a vacation. But for the most part, what do I like to say? It's not a job, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's different for me because I don't have my own company and I go through phases. So like the end of a project or the beginning of a project, or there's a period of time where I'll be working a lot. Not like I used to, not like when you're working at a boutique, like at all. Like if I work like 13 hours, I'm like, if I work like 6 days, I'm like, oh, I need a break. But like in the downtime, I don't know. I hang out with my boyfriend and go see movies. I like to go to museums. I like to make things. I just bought a house and I'm decorating it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I'm like scraping wallpaper. So it's not so glamorous, but I like it.
I like to have barbecues.
Yes, my name's William Carlson. I'm in the digital art and design. I've been doing a lot of freelance work, and I was fortunate enough to, land a few big companies, right off the bat. So I've got a pretty good portfolio. So I'm starting to get a lot more clients than I can handle. So I'm actually at the point where I'm looking to hire freelancers to help me out with work. But at this point, I'm just, a name. So I'm wondering if I should, brand myself, or I should go ahead and start a company. What would bigger companies be looking for?
If you're working for some bigger named clients, you definitely want to incorporate for the protections. If a job goes wrong and they decide to sue you, they sue you. If you have a house or a car or something, they could take that. You need a corporation to shield you from that. So I would say yes, incorporate right away. I think it does cost $800 a year minimum to incorporate. It's an incorporation fee. And you have to pay your own Social Security, which you're probably already doing because you're probably getting non-taxed checks from them. So it's definitely in your best interest to incorporate. I think LegalZoom, it's cheap as heck. Come up with a name, make sure it's not taken, and incorporate immediately. Sorry, one more thing. When you hire freelancers, make sure that, do you hire them locally at your place of business, or like at your house, or how do you do it? Would they work remotely? Yeah, I do. Okay, remotely is good, because if they work at your house or your business and you tell them when to be there and what to do, they're an employee. And you're by law supposed to take taxes out, even if you hire from a day. So if they work at their own place, on their own time, on their own equipment, that's freelance.
Hi, my name is Kelvin Terry. I'm in a computer animation program, and I have a question about rigging. What is your hardest rig that you've ever done?
Medusa.
Flash.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans. That was hard. It was really long.
There's a lot of snakes.
There was 55 snakes, and there was actually like 3 snakes. So the reason why she was hard, she had a lot of layers. because the rig was just like gargantuan. It has like this huge tail, and then there's like a full body deformation rig on the top, and then there's like a whole face rig, and then there's 55 snakes, and they all have face rigs. So it was really, really, I spent a lot of time going like this.
How long did it take you?
That rig, it's hard to say, because I worked on the show for like a year, but there was a lot of other things. There's a lot of other creatures. And she was like beginning to end, you know what I mean? And we had multiple people working on her, and it was just, we probably could have made it a lot more efficient, and going back, I would change so many things. And realizing that by the end of the show, about how I could have done things differently made it even harder to finish.
About going back and changing everything. Now, do you feel like you can do that rig faster? Because I know when I was rigging something, I was actually rigging a Sonic and using a blend shape for his eyes, and it took me like 7 hours to get him to blink correctly. Now I can do it in like 5 minutes, or even faster than that. You think you can, like, now that you've tackled that Medusa rig, like you can do it like in the snap now?
Snakes are like a breeze now. But yeah, obviously, not only do you kind of know what you want, I think that is, half the challenge, is figure out what you want. What do you want it to do? And the second thing, so now you know what you wanted to do and what it didn't do, and what is the slowest part, and the most time-consuming part, and you can redesign it with experience. So there's that, and the fact that now I have all the tools that I wrote. And other people wrote for me.
You get other people.
Okay. After you graduated from Full Sail, how did you transition from college to the workplace, and what was your first job like?
I actually worked through Full Sail. You can believe that. I was an audio tech at Universal. It was one of my first jobs in the industry. I also worked for an avid rental place as well. That just needs warm bodies, really. And I told you earlier about how I interned in Miami for a year, so it wasn't really it was I don't know if you call it a transition, it was just being a body when they needed it and doing it for free so I could learn. But after that, first job was at the Post Group, which I think is now defunct, in LA. And I don't really know how the transition is. You just do it. Like when you went from high school to here, you just do it, right? And maybe Laurie has a different.
It's similar. Like when I graduated, I got a job waitressing, like locally, and my friends were here because I was from Orlando. So I was really I'm not a good example. I was bad. I was like, I got my first job because I had a friend.
That's be friends. Make sure you keep friends with all your Full Sail students. I mean, who knows where they'll be, or who they'll meet. Yeah. I mean, I swear I was a placement company for a little while because I was working so much that I would have places call me, hey, can you do this job? I'm like, no, but talk to Fred or this or that. So a lot of my close friends were getting jobs just because they knew me.
Yeah. And my first job was a tracker. So it was like not something that I had a devout interest in at the time. I find it really interesting now, but like then I didn't really know that much about it. So like it's one of those, every job has like this surface like persona, and then there's like the reality. You know what I mean? So the surface persona of tracking was not that interesting to me, but that's what the job was. So what happened was my friend called me up, and I had just gotten off of work, and he's like, I have a job for you in LA. Can you be here on Monday? And that was a Friday. And so I went. And I slept on his couch for a month. And I got paid like really I got paid, which is good. But
food is good.
I was like, Dad, help. And then, so that was like a 4-month contract. And then I decided I would stay put in LA. Obviously, I had my own apartment by then. And I came back to Florida, packed up my car and my cat, and drove. And then...
it's a long drive.
Yeah, and actually it's...
Texas is long.
It was great. Oh, it was so fun. I loved it. But it took a little time because then after that, I didn't get a job immediately. I was... I worked at a record store in LA for a year and a half. And during that year and a half, I was working part-time at a boutique place doing commercials and some tests for feature animations, one of which was the one that I was telling you guys about with the pigeons. So that turned into something.
When I first moved to California, I moved back to Florida 3 times. It was it's overwhelming, and you're broke and living on people's couches, and back here, and you had a lot of friends and everything, but it's tricky. I have to say though, Orlando's a great town, but it doesn't have it's got 5 billion Full Sail students here, so you may have to move and give it a try. It's risk reward. If there's only a few places in the world that do this high skilled stuff that we do, and the VFX cloud isn't quite there yet, where people can work in, the only way that works is if you have experience and move to Kansas and can work remotely because people know you. But in the future, I think that's going to happen more and more. It's going to be people in their houses doing a VFX cloud. It's going to be decentralized, yeah.
Because I think when you're just getting out of school, if you don't have a family, I think you can be flexible, and you should be flexible. You know what I mean? If you have a family, it's hard to just go move somewhere for a month. You can't put your kids on someone's couch. You know what I mean?
I lived 12 places in 2 years, just moving all over the place, staying on couches, just trying to find something to make it work.
Yeah, but that's what I would think is just I think that was really important, is just to stay flexible and take jobs that you don't think are awesome.
Yeah, because the next job you get or the people you meet might be an awesome job. And you can't always do what you want.
Can't always be
Is it on? Okay. I just got one final question for you. Since you both were students, if you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing that you wish you would have paid more attention to as a student, since they're all students in the room here and watching, what would it be?
Get to know Gary Jones. He's a great guy. I don't know.
Tough one.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah.
I would go back before Full Sail, and I would tell myself to get better at math.
Get better at art.
So
I can't draw a stick figure.
At this time, I wanted to thank both.
Sorry.
Do you want to go ahead?
That goes to show, you don't have to be the greatest artist. You can still succeed.
He's lying. He's a very talented artist.
No,
So he's
traditional artist. I'm a technist.
I want to thank both Laurie and Culley here for giving us a presentation. Can we give them a round of applause?